Bible, and you read it from this base position, it's real easy to see in the Bible that God takes sides in the struggle between the rich and the poor. And God takes the side of the poor. That's expressed in the struggle between Pharaoh and the slaves in Egypt and their liberation. And for those who see this perspective of liberation in the Bible as they read it, it's expressed in Jesus' life. His was a life that was led in the direction of liberating the people. We read the phrase in the Bible, Jesus says, "Take up your cross and follow me." Well, that was no uncommon awareness in the people. In their political consciousness, they knew that the streets and highways of their own towns and cities were lined with crosses, which were political instruments for political prisoners. And Jesus was saying, take up this cross, take up the political struggle. It's part of the religious experience.
But isn't this what scares a lot of people back in the United States, that this liberation theology threatens the way of life, it threatens the traditions, it threatens the system?
Yes.
But it does that. The comfort.
It will do that. And in fact, the danger of what's going on south of the U.S. border is not communism. The threat is, in fact, that God takes sides. And the point is, inside the United States, there's also poverty. And those who are poor need to hear the word that they can begin to raise up and claim their human dignity and their human worth.
You think that God takes sides, that God is on the side of the poor against the rich?
I believe that God is on the side of the oppressed against the oppressor. And that generally cuts down to the rich and the poor.
And our role is what? Are you suggesting that we all do what you've done?
I think, Bill, I grew up in a church where, in fact, I heard the prophetic word of Jesus preached. The struggle for justice, the living with the poor, the release of the captives. I heard the gospel from the time I was an infant in the United Methodist Church. My grandfather was a pioneer Methodist pastor. The problem I'm kind of faced with is that same church taught me, by its behavior, that I could also participate in the struggle for American success dreams, and to be competitive, and to cooperate with systems that in fact exploit others. So I think one has to begin to try to decide where we cooperate and where we don't. And as far as the Bible is concerned, we're forced with a pretty clear, difficult decision. You cannot serve both money and God.
You're taking this thing pretty far, you know.
Yes, I am.
That's right.
The gospel is revolutionary in my view. It is radical.
You're a dangerous man, you know that.
I don't know that.
I mean, if your example were followed, multiplied, if your ideas spread, they're subversive to this world.
I like the way you put that. They're subversive to this world if we conceive of the world as a world defined by the powers that currently are in control. That's right. I do want to be a danger to that world.